in this session I would like to break down one of the pieces from ABRSM grade 2. I'm going to start with the Musette in D. The idea behind this session that I'm doing is to help you if you are a student and you're trying to learn this piece, if you are a parent trying to help your child, or if you are a teacher, it might help you with your methodology. I would like to start with the whole piece. Who is it written by? I think it's very important that we know what is it, what does the title mean, who wrote it, what was happening at the time when this piece was written, and then it helps us to build a picture. Then we go into the sound, what it sounds like, and we break down the piece into chunks. So this is called Musette in D. A musette is like a type of French dance, and actually, so to start with, it is a dance, okay, 18th century dance, and it would have been played by a drone accompaniment. Drone means it's the same thing over and over on a French bagpipe, and that was known as a musette, which is why this piece is called the musette. So imagine a dance, imagine 18th century, imagine the clothes they would have worn at the time, perhaps a little bit heavier than the clothing we have now, so it's not going to be fast like a dance that we might play in the 21st century, 18th century dance. And this was written by one of Bach's children. And I love this about Bach because J.S. Bach, Johann Sebastian Bach, he had, I think, about 16 children, and their family was very musical. So it's the only composer that if you say, can I hear something from Bach, you would say, which one? Which one of the Bachs? The dad or one of the children? And he wrote this album of pieces, dedicated it to his wife, Anna Magdalena. And the Musette, I think, is one of the pieces that they would have played as a family together, trying to have fun, possibly even dance. So you have the left hand with the Musette accompaniment, and all you hear is this. And it goes on and on. Sometimes it changes, it might go to A or E. So it's really good if you can get your child, or you can start to practice by just reaching the octave, D to D. You don't need to like hold it legato, you just need to be able to have the Ds and then play it as a game. See if your children can do it with their eyes closed and just go. And yes, sometimes you'll get, or it doesn't matter. It's still fun in the learning. You can laugh together, you can have fun together, just like the Bachs would have done, right? That's your first one. So you try the Ds, the A's, and the E's, right? Then it does help if your children can hear the piece from the beginning to the end. So I'm going to play you the whole musette from the beginning to the end. Then we shall break it down into sections. Here's the whole piece. Musette in D, as in D major, so nice happy sounding piece. That's your nice, lovely little happy musette, happy dance. Now, breaking it down. First thing I would do, and we would do this as an exercise with someone if I'm teaching them the piece, there are natural phrases, natural sentences in the piece, and you can hear them. So the first idea that you would hear is this one. Yes? With the left hand. So I would class this as a whole section, and I would refer to it as section A. And when I'm writing it, I like to write A, Use color, don't be afraid to use color in your score, and then you can see visually stands out. This is your section A, and you can start by learning this section. You do the left hand, you can do the right hand. I love the clapping games. If you are a teacher and you are teaching a child to do this, or you are a parent, you can take the accompaniment role, so the role of the Musette, by going, and your child or your student, or you can take turns, can do the other part, which goes If you're doing this before you even get to do any playing, it's a fun game to do with the children, fun game to do as an interaction if you're a parent-child, and you can swap, you can do the parts, but you are helping to reinforce the rhythmic patterns. So your child is never going to speed up, because in order for them to clap this, they need to hear it in their inner voice. They need to sing it in their head before they can clap it. So you are helping to reinforce the rhythms, and you won't have any problems with the rhythms if they can do that. And if they can jump from one part, so you say, you be the Musette, I'll be the melody, and then let's swap, definitely they will have it. They will have it. You're not going to struggle with this. Once you've done this, then you can try to play it on the piano. Like I said, the octaves are easy, the Ds. Then you need to jump to the F sharp, right? And then again D, and then again. You can ask questions like, what was the difference? Give me something that's a similarity between the first phrase and the second phrase. So something similar would be, they have exactly the same rhythm. If you were clapping it, it would sound the same, but the melody ends on a different note. So first time ends F, D, whereas second time ends more final, it's more final. Right? So that's like another game, and you are now implementing the oral skills, which again come in handy. It's good, you're getting them to listen, you're getting them to think for themselves. Then you add the right hand on its own first and get them to do this jump. If they need to go from here to the F sharp there, then it's nice and easy. All you have to get them to do is to keep their eyes on the F sharp. Don't look at anything else, don't look at your left hand. Keep looking at this F sharp in particular. If you look at it, your right hand automatically will go on it. Or just do the jump. And again. So in a lesson or in a practice session, you would do this over and over again, hands separately. The very last thing you would do is putting hands together. Once you've worked on this section, section A, then you would move on to the next section, which is, I call this section B. So section B has got a completely different idea. You can hear it. You don't need to be a musician to hear this. You can tell. Listen to this. Right? So this would be your section B. And then you can start playing with this one. You can break it down into even smaller chunks. You can do right hand, left hand. One of you can be the Musette. The other person can be the melody, you know, the fiddle or the flute or whatever it would have been at the time. You decide, or the child can decide what they want to be here. And then you look at the end of the piece, and right at the end there is a DC al fine. DC stands for da capo, which means from the top, from the beginning of the piece. Al fine. Fine means end in Italian. So fine would be right at the end of section A. So when you play this piece, you play section A, you play section B, then you go back to the beginning of the piece and play section A again, and then you finish. That's where you finish. So if I was then asking the children, say, what is the form of this piece? We're now going into form analysis, which again is brilliant. They would say A, B, A. Very simple, A, B, A. It could be A, B, C. It could be A, B, B, A, B. Lots of different versions. In this case, it's A, B, back to A. And because you've already worked on section A, going back to it will feel like a breeze for them because they know how to do it. And then you can say, wow, you already know 2/3 of the piece, because we have 3 sections in this piece, A, B, A, and you already know 2 of them. You know A and you know A, so we're just learning B. So if you've learned section A, you already know 2/3 of the piece. And then this would be fun. Just learning the piece. When you finish learning the notes, and the idea is that you only do 1 section at a time, you might even break the section into smaller chunks, which would be your phrases, 2-bar phrases or 4-bar phrases. At this time, you know, Baroque music is beautiful. They believed so much in symmetry. This was the time that everything they did was to please God. So they believed in beautiful intervals, beautiful melodies. Everything had to be resolved. Everything had to sound lovely. So therefore we see this in the music as well. You have the symmetry, 4-bar phrase. Here's your first 4 bars. 1, 2, 3, 4. Your next phrase, your next sentence starts again 4 bars. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? And you can break this, you can have fun breaking the piece into even smaller. So you have your sections, then you have your phrases. Okay? So again, if you're helping your children and you're a parent, you say, what is your first sentence? Does it finish like a question mark, or is it like a full stop at the end of that? I would say the first one is not really a full stop. Have a listen. It's not quite decisive, whereas your second phrase definitely a full stop there. You can hear it. Yes, and you can get the children to give you these answers. And they will all have fun learning this. And then you can be a little bit like the Bach family would have been. If you want to go even further, once you've finished learning it, you can get them to add dynamics. What are dynamics? Dynamics usually refers to volume, so going loud or going soft. Now, at the time when this was written, pianos were not invented yet. So they would play keyboards, they would play the organ, like a church organ. But those things did not allow you to play loud and soft. They couldn't experiment with volume. But we have pianos, we could have fun. So if you're looking at your book and it says forte, like loud, or P for piano, those are only suggestions for pieces written around this time. They are just suggestions, okay? So if you want to put your own interpretation, by all means, have some fun. Get your children, get your pupils to try different ways of playing the same thing. They can start piano and go forte. They can go piano and then forte. Or they could do the opposite and then go piano. Whatever they decide, it will be their decision and they will take ownership of that decision. And therefore when they play it, they will always remember to play it, as opposed to my teacher told me I should play loud and my teacher told me I should play soft. No, I really believe that children are very capable of making their choices. And the beauty about music is that there's no right or wrong. It's just your choice. You decide, I like this better, or I like this version better. That's what makes it your interpretation, as opposed to your teacher's suggestion or your parents' suggestion. And each time you play it, you might change your mind, and the next time you might think, actually this time I'm going to play the whole thing softly or the whole thing loud, and they can have fun. And that way, when they're practicing, instead of getting them to, I don't know, play the same passage 10 times, which would be so boring. If someone said to me, can you play this 10 times? I would think, I would do a sigh. But if someone said to me, let's play it really softly the first time, and I would do that, and then they would say, that was okay. What if we tried to play it really loud? And then I would play it really loud. And if they said, what if we just try to mix it in the middle and we just try all these different combinations? I would be playing this over and over and over again, not realizing that I'm doing it 10 or 20 times. And I would have fun in the process. But if someone just said to me, do it 10 times, that's never going to be fun. So if you are a parent trying to help your child, help them by suggesting ways how they can try it again. suggest that they do it slower, suggest that they do it smoother, or they do it staccato. So if they're doing it legato, the smooth version, it would be right, and see how that feels. And then suggest doing it completely staccato, really detached. Right, and then try to go somewhere in the middle. And again, between the two of you, you can have a communication, decide which version do you like the best. Which one is your favorite, which one is the teacher's favorite, which one is the child's favorite. And you decide, well, let your child decide which one they're going to do. And like I said, it could be different each time. That's the Musette in D. Hope you enjoyed that. Come back for more.